Yo, what up guys, Beside here with a champion guide for Fenax, a Sacred Order faction champion who looks normal, unlike a lot of champions in Raid Shadow Legends who look extraordinary. He's just looking normal right here. This champion is not well known in the Raid Shadow Legends community because he's not quite appreciated except for one place where he shines the most, just like an Armiger with his A1 block revive. Before we get into his skills right here, let me let you know his champion build right here, like I said, looking normal as possible, because Sacred Order are actually a human faction, just like the Banner Lords also. So nothing special about him. Looks like a prince charming, if I might say. This champion is known for only this A1. That's why you've maybe not heard about him. So this is the first time I'm building this champion on my account, and I intend to take him into the content and test him out to see the damage he can bring to a team, of course in also PvP content. All right, on the A1, this champion attacks one enemy. That's it. No, that's not it. It places an extra hit if the target has any debuffs. So with that being said, you need to put debuffs on the enemies before you go in with this A1. He should not be the fastest champion in your team going in and hitting. Your War Maiden, your Lydia, whoever you're bringing as your decrease defense champion should go in there. It doesn't have to be decrease defense. It could be decrease attack. It could be anything. Any debuff you place on them, but most likely you want decrease defense or weaken out there on the enemy before you go in with this A1. This is the skill you want him using the most in content, because his A2 does have an AoE damage, yes, but it just kind of helps you control the wave a little bit. So despite being a damage dealer, you will need accuracy on this champion to do these two debuffs on the enemies. If you don't set any presets, he will start the battle with this A2, which places block buff debuff on the enemies. It's kind of useful for the Hydra, I guess, but personally I don't know if I want to take this champion into the Hydra. We'll test him out to see how much damage he can actually bring there, because this debuff is useful. Although it's on a 4-turn cooldown, which is not ideal. We normally need champions who play block, buff, debuff on a 3-turn cooldown for that Hydra content. But if you don't have any other options, mine too, is it Ugo? No, you don't have Ugo, you don't have Mighty Ugo and all those other amazing champions who do amazing job at the Hydra. He can serve that purpose for one of your teams, I guess, while also being a damage dealer. It's not an enemy max HP nuke like the other nukers. That's why I say it's not quite popular, but it's just a budget version of this block buff debuff that you can use. Block active skills is useful for wave content, whether you're going against the Ice Golem, which is the content I will test him out, or even other dragon content. He can place block active skills on the enemies, making them only use their A1. This skill also comes in handy for content like PvP if you have enough accuracy on him. It's for 1 turn, and this skill does not places block active skills debuff for 1 turn if the skill does not place block buff debuff. So that's a condition right here. It's either you're placing block buff debuff or you're placing block active skill right there. All right, he has a synergy with Talia, which we know people don't use in Raid Shadow Legends, so forget about that. Decrease bomb detonation, that's not a champion people use in the early end game. People leave her at level 4 5-star maybe for faction wars, and that's it. But Talia pairs well with this champion, and it gives an extra effect on this is A2. For his A3, it's also a single target hit, and this one hits hard. It doesn't block revive like the A1, but it hits hard. 60% chance of placing decreased defense debuff and a decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Hydra needed, or even against bosses, some bosses that can take slow speed. All right, no passive, no aura, nothing. This champion is just straightforward because he's been in raid for a long time. Does he have an this thing lore? Nope, nothing. We don't know much about this champion. It's a mystery, but we'll find out soon enough with the Raid Call of Habitat episode expanded. All right, let me show you how I build this champion, and we'll soon take him into some content and test him out in battle. And before we do the test though, let me show you my Fenax build. There it is. Now, for the early game in raid, I did not have the opportunity to use this champion. So if you're coming into the raid right now, don't be intimidated by these artifact sets. All you need in this champion is number 1 crit rate, number 2 crit damage, number 3 attack. Those are the 3 stats you try to get on him to make him do huge amount of damage, because if he's not doing damage on your team, then is it just a debuffer? So I've not seen anybody building him tanky just to be and high accuracy just to place block buff debuff. That's not a viable way of using him. You must build this champion with crit rate 100%, crit damage as much as you can, and attack higher than 2k, higher than 3k, higher than 4k, depending on how much artifacts you have. So Once you achieve that, once you've been able to achieve all that conditions, then you can decide on the set to go for. Now, for a damage dealer set in Racial Legends, we always try to look for this crit rate and crit damage from 2 sets. Early game, you look for it at crit damage or even crit rate sets. Then for the end game, you might most likely look for it for savage set or lethal set like I'm using. So that's the 2 ways to build them: savage set, lethal set. Now for champions you use for PvE content, I'm talking Ice Golem, I'm talking Hydra and all those places, we usually don't want to give them our best savage sets. We usually don't want to give them our best lethal sets, especially if we're not going to use them for the arena. So if you know you're not going to use Fenax for the arena, it's fine to give him a triple perception set or triple crit damage set. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with building this champion. He will not ignore as much damage as much the enemy defense as you want him to, but it's still viable. Or even if you're crazy swimming in lifesteal set in that early game, you don't have sealed drake, you don't have apothecary to keep him alive, you might want to just throw him in lifesteal so he can keep himself alive when he hits, because he's a squishy one in terms of his HP and defense, and he will most likely go down if you build him with just attack and stats and not enough HP and defense, or no way to sustain himself in battle, or nobody sustaining him. So if you know he's going down in battle and your early game lifesteal, this is not viable, of course, in arena. Like I said, this is most likely useful in content like PvE. So that's the set I'm recommending for early game players who do not have the luxury of getting savage, cruel, and lethal. Just go with anything you have that can give you that crit rate, give you that crit damage, give you that attack, and then you can talk about speed above 150 or closer to 200 range. That's what you're looking for on this champion. It's a simple champion to build, to be sincere. The best thing you want him doing is that A1 to block revive, especially also in content like the Doom Tower. Alright, now for the end game build, I've catered to the early game players, and to be sincere, it's only early game players that appreciate this champion. End game players, once they just have better options: Xavier, block revive, Initue, blood twin. There are many people who can do block revive in the end game. There are many. Even Armiger, sometimes people prefer to use an Armiger for block revive, A1 block revive, because of that turn meter decrease. So sometimes it's even more preferred than Fenax. But obviously Fenax will even appear in the arena, while Armiger will never appear in the arena. So that's something to consider depending on where you are in the game. I'm saying newer players should build Fenax, and endgame players will most likely use him for only content like the what do you call it now, faction wars. So if you're the endgame player that is building this champion for faction wars or other things, give him the savage set that he deserves, or plus the cruel set that will even ignore more defense, and that's savage set right here. I decided not to put him in savage because it was giving me low stats, but yeah, I did get some lethal sets that are awesome right here, and 2 broken pieces right here. Where is lethal? Because I've been farming a lot of that dark fey at the highest level of Doom Tower had. That's why I'm beginning to get some lethal sets. I think most guys that I've done these days is beginning to be in lethal sets, and savage set, Fire Knight, have not been lucky enough to get good ones. So those are the 2 sets I'll recommend right here for this champion. And let me show you some of the stats I have on him. Crit damage, of course, on the glove. Crit damage, of course, on the amulet. Those 2 are compulsory. Then if you can get attack on the chest, I couldn't get attack on the chest. That's why I went accuracy on the chest and then went attack on the banner. So if you can get attack on the chest, you go accuracy on the banner always, because he needs accuracy. This champion does need accuracy, especially for that his A2 skill, depending on where you use him. So some people might ignore accuracy, use him only for the A1 and just go crazy, just put attack up and down, then he's just going crazy, and attack and crit damage substats or crit rate substats. So I did put this, all my sets are currently in, what do you call it now, counter attack sets, because I want that A1 happening as often as possible. But this is kind of dangerous, because if the boss hits him and he goes in, retaliates, counter attacks with his A1, the boss might proc something that you don't want happen. So careful of when you're using counter attack sets on champions like this, because they might proc a threshold that you don't want to hit for the Ice Golem. But he is going to be useful for other content for this type of set, because his A1 is going to be crazy. Block revive right there. Total stats I have on this champion, check out the attack. I was aiming for 5k attack. Like I said, it's not my damage dealer I'm going to use in the arena, so I'm not doing 6k 5 and above attack. But crit rate over 100%. I was looking for 100, but I got over 100%. I'll take it. And I was looking for 250 crit damage, at least 250 crit damage. And then of course accuracy for level 20 content or level 25 content that I'm going to be testing him out. I gave him this amount of accuracy, so that's what I'm going to be using. I'm not using it for the Hydra Brutal or Hydra Nightmare. This accuracy might also be enough for content like the Hydra Normal or Hydra Hard. All right, that's this champion. For masteries, of course, you need the mastery on a damage dealer like this, especially the most important one will be Hem Smasher. So the mastery level you go towards to determine whether you want to use him for the type of content you want to use him in. This one is most likely an arena kind of mastery and wave content nuking. I have enough accuracy, that's why I didn't go towards the support 3. Instead, I was looking for more chance to counter attack by going towards this defense and retribution right here. All right, but support 3 and offense is most likely where everybody wants to go. Check out Airhead's website if you want more options. For defense is optional. Support is the way to go if you don't have enough accuracy. For his blessings, for a damage dealer like this, most likely people will go towards this cruelty to ignore some of the enemy defense. But if you have a blessing that is of a higher ranking, I'm talking about 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, even 6-star, then of course you always want to go with this crushing rend, because he also ignores even more defense than cruelty, right, at the early stages. So that's what I have on him: cruelty or crushing rend. Read and choose the best. All of them, I think both blessings does give him a little bit of attack, 400 attack right here on crushing rend, while cruelty will give him also 400 attack as a base stat. So those are two of them are good, but read the description so you know which one is better against bosses or against wave content. All right, let's head over to some battles and test this champion out. And the first place I'm taking him into is going to be the Ice Golem, because we want to see him actually block revive of those 2 side adds, right? That's one thing that he's best known for in Raid Shadow Legends. So let me show you this sample battle that I want to run right here. But before we do run that Ice Golem battle, I want to do a damage test. Yes, a damage test means that we're going to bring in all the best things required to make him do crazy damage, to see how much damage this champion can actually do in battle. So what this 29%, 24%, yeah, 24%, is it? Can I get 35% increase accuracy? I mean increase attack. Where's my Xavier? Xavier, where are you? I hate looking for champions. There she is. She's 33%. So I'll take 34%. Xavier is lower. This is 34%. I think there was a champion that has 35%. This 30. All right, let's go with this champion in the leader slot for no particular reason. Increase attack right here from Arbiter. Decrease defense and weaken. Then I'm not bringing any passive that will ignore defense, like poison or something. I don't think is needed from Badel. All right, let's not bring in Badel for now. Let me just do decrease defense and weaken, increase attack, increase crit damage. Can we do that instead? Let's increase his crit damage with my epic champion. What's his name now? Increase crit damage. Increase crit damage. Let's just do a sample run. I'll only do it the first wave. Let's see what type of damage we're talking about. So why I brought increase attack and I brought increase crit damage and increase crit rate. I'm not looking at those numbers for now. Did you see what just happened? Block the revive. Anyways, decrease defense and weaken. All right, let me put it on 1 speed. Do whatever you want. All right, it's time for us to see what Fenax can do. Or almost time. On his A1, that's the first thing I'm testing right here. I'm going in with the A1 because that's the most thing we want to use the most. I'll put it on the champion who is already almost full HP and see if he can go down. I'm cold. That was impressive. 157,000 damage on an A1. Now you see why this champion can be used in the arena. Now you see why it can be used in the arena. Damn. Another single target nuker has been discovered. So this is not just a PvE content champion, guys. This is impressive. I'm actually impressed. Let me see how much damage the A2 can do. Let's roll around to the A2. It's an AoE skill, the A2. Let's get around to Fenax real quick. Is it your turn yet? Increase attack again. All right, Fenax, it's your turn to do it again. Let's see the A2. The A2 is an AoE, and is it 14k? 14k? I didn't see the numbers. I put it on double speed. Anyways, but I think the A3 will even do something like that. Let me go back to the A3. I want to actually see the A3 also with the same team. This time around, I'll start the battle with the A3. Fenax going again with the... I'm putting him last in my order of... You see, I'll give that explanation. He's not the first champion going in and doing damage when ally attack is called on. He's the last champion. That's why you see him doing the block revive last. All right, for his A3, let's see how much damage this does. This is also a single target hit. We saw 157k on the A1, and usually A3 damages are higher, but this does not block revive, but I hope it should do more damage. Yes, 239, almost double the amount of the A1. So this is a single target hitter that you can use in the arena for sure, because I have single target hitters that don't do as much damage and I use them in the arena, but this is crazy. Although this is much possible in this test that I'm showing you, because we have decreased defense, we have weakened, we have increased crit damage, we have increased attack. So if you don't have all these debuffs and buffs on yourself, you expect maybe half of this damage, maybe 100k damage on the A1 is reasonable with only decreased defense out there or weakened. All right, let me end it because this is not the real team that I intend to test him in. I want an actually auto team where he can shine, and that's what a team like this where I put together a team that is obtainable at least to most people. I still brought in increased crit damage and increased crit rate, and I have brought in a poisoner which will take care of this boss. And I don't want Fenax. See what I told you, he's actually at the last order. So if there is, we are going in for all ally join attack, right? Ally attack, he will be the last champion to use his A1, which will block the revive. So that's the way I went about it. And check out what I set on him in the presets. Against the boss, I don't want him using his A2. Yes, because that's an AoE skill, and whenever the boss gets triggered when his side arts are still alive, something bad happens to you. So that's why I turned it off, because I don't want him hitting the boss. I want poisons to be the way to kill down the boss. So there are lots of ways to take down Ice Golem. This most likely will work in 20 and 25, but I just wanted to try out 20 so we don't stay here for too long. This is just a sample battle to see how it all goes down. Who is stunning on the A1? So I guess we are not looking at the wave. I already showed you wave content, so I'll forward to all the way to the end. Be right back. All right, where the boss and Fenax kind of killed himself with this wave that put counter, is what they call that thing, that had a buff on them, which he kind of retaliates on himself and when he did hit them. So let me wait for Seal the Direct to revive Fenax first. Why are we hitting the boss? Let me wait for Seal the Direct to revive Fenax. Yes, now he's here. Let's put it on slow speed and see what or let me just leave it on auto, full auto, and see what Fenax is doing, because usually you want these battles on full auto. He's most likely gonna use his A3. Is this Fenax survived it? Good, thank goodness. So note to self, don't bring this dude right here. See, the counter attack is happening and I don't want him doing it. That's block revive. No, he did not block revive. Come on, Fenax, I need that block revive. Fenax, come on. So you can't really predict when it's going to happen, but you just hope Fenax is the one that's doing his A1 on the side arts. You most likely maybe want to block out the A3. If you block out the A3, that means it will force him to use his A1. This dude with his ally attack is going to get us killed. He's going to get everybody here killed. All right, if I want to make it happen on manual, I guess, because you normally don't want to fight this battle on manual. You want Fenax to use his A1 on this side arts that is already having his low HP. So let's keep targeting this one that is not low. And Fenax, it's time for you to shine. Go in there, block revive. That's what it should really happen in battle. So depending on how you speed tune them and how you want it done, if you have it on auto, sometimes it will happen block revive, sometimes it will not happen, because when that side arts has block revive on them now, it's an easy run. The boss cannot hit you really hard and kill you. So That's what I think about this champion. This is one of the best places he shines, and coming right here again, block revive. That's what it does. You usually don't want to do it on auto. You pray and hope it happens on auto, and to make it happen more often on auto, turn off his A3. I only turned off his A2, and he's coming here doing a bunch of stuff, and he killed himself on the wave by doing damage to them when they have that buff on them. And now it's smooth sailing all the way. The boss cannot bring them back to life. Revive blocked. This is one of the ways Fenax is best known in Raid Shadow Legends. All right, let me head over to the next way, and which is going to be the arena. Yes, this champion does deserve a spot in the arena because of that huge A1 hit that he's doing. Let me go against a team like a tanky team. This is a tanky team, right? Yes, this is full tanks. And let me take out my damage dealer and put in Fenax. Recently used. That's my damage dealer for today. Now I do not need increased accuracy, but I will need increase crit damage. Wood brings increased crit damage. Yeah, it's still on recently used. Let me bring in this dude again. All right, neutralize the enemy or protect Fenax with a champion like he does not need any special instances to make him hit hard. So thank goodness. So let me protect him so the run does not fail with this. Hopefully my habitat is fast enough. Ooh, I should have stripped their buff. I don't have decreased defense and weaken. Anyways, let's just see how much damage he can do without it. Increase attack. Increase crit damage. Shipped. I do have my buffs right now, but I do not have debuffs. I know it's gonna be revived, but let me see the A3. Nothing. Oh, UDK blocked it. Sorry, this is a wrong one. Because UDK blocks all single target hits, right? And Fenax will not be good for that purpose. UDK won't let that happen. Let me go against the team we can shine against. UDK will not let me do single target hits. Increase attack. Increase crit damage. Block revived. Block revived. Everybody gets it. 44k on the A1 without decreased defense and weaken. Now, if I had decreased defense on this champion, you know it's also block revive right there. So let me end this battle right here. And the next place, I think you get the point right now. Fenax is a good champion with his A1, with his A2. I don't need to take him into the Hydra to test out. But we are missing out on one thing right here in this battle. And that is this A2. Placing this. He killed him. I wanted to place the block debuff. Block buff debuff on the enemies, but that I guess can be useful in the Hydra. So that's this champion guide on Fenax. Remember, this champion is awesome for the faction wars, it's awesome for the Hydra, it's awesome for Ice Golem, and of course you can even use him in Doom Tower against those bosses that needs block revive. Is this rotation? I can see it. That freeze boss that needs block revive, you can bring in Fenax and help you get it done, or you can use it in the Hydra. I currently have enemy max HP and HP burn as my damage way of doing damage on the Hydra. If you don't have those options like Royal Guard, like Husk, you can bring in Fenax as your champion who is doing that block revive. You don't have Mindsu, Uko, or Ugo. He serves that purpose and also the role of a damage dealer. You most likely need 2 damage dealer in the Hydra. If you're not doing legendaries, use epics, because we have epic legendary damage dealers, but we're still using epic AoE nukers, enemy max HP nukers in the Hydra. So he works in that purpose. I don't want to make this one too long. I think I've made my point clear. Fenax is an amazing champion, and I can't believe I've not been using this all this time because I really didn't need him for anything. But right now I'm beginning to see a reason why some people might want to use him, especially in that Ice Golem content that I showed him off in. So that's my champion guide for Fenax. Let me know in the comments where else you are using this champion. Remember, this is the first time I'm building this champion and using him in content, despite me seeing him being used by a lot of players in Raid Shadow Legends. It just never made a role in my team because Armiger served that purpose of a block revive champion in all those areas that I just mentioned. So you can see him right now that he can do that same thing in the PvE content, PvP content if you have decreased defense and weaken on the enemy and they are not protected by a huge shielded UDK. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments, guys. Like and subscribe and tell me which champion you want me to do a champion guide on. I'll be glad to put some gear on them, build them fully, and test them out fairly and square, and tell you whether they are worth building or not. For me, yes, Fenax is worth building, especially in the early game. For end game, if you have a lot of more other options, I don't think so. He's gonna be one of those champions I bring in for those special occasions where they say fight this content with Sacred Order faction or something union. So that's where he will serve my purpose. He's not gonna make my main teams at all because I do have legendary options for that purpose. All right, later, guys.